Mixties presents the Popcast. Hey, my name is Brian, and this is Shane, and you're watching the Popcast. And tonight we are reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I am Groot. Yes.
I'm Groot. By the way, heavy spoilers. Like,
Oh yeah, we're giving it all away.
Yeah, we're not trying to hide anything. If you haven't seen the movie and you care about spoilers, don't watch this.
Don't watch this.
Subscribe and save it for later. I don't know. It's hard
But
to
if
say
you don't
not to
care,
watch the video, but
but if you don't care, we're going to talk about some really cool stuff.
yeah.
So
By the
stay
way,
tuned.
it's like 5 a.m. right now, 4 a.m. or something. It's crazy late.
It's late.
We just got off a midnight showing, and we're gonna knock it out, man. For you guys, our dozen fans that care about us.
It's more than a dozen now.
Whatever. So a couple
But it's
dozen
cool.
tops.
Yeah, a couple dozen. Yeah, 36.
Okay, so let's start at the top. Let's go pros, cons, and then we'll give it a rating. Yeah?
Okay, yeah, we got to talk a little bit about what the movie was about, so we kind of get a feel for what happens this time, kind of give it that whole breakdown.
Okay. So we open up on the Guardians. They're on a cool platform in sovereign space, and they're trying to take down this multi-dimensional beast that's feeding on the expensive batteries that these gold douchebags are using. And it's a really cool opening scene with Groot. I mean, right then they set the pace for the movie. Like, this movie's gonna have a whole lot of Groot. You're gonna see it.
Oh
here.
yeah.
And he's dancing around, and they're fighting this beast. And Drax is great. He's trying to fight it, and eventually they take it down. They go to get their winnings from the Sovereign. The Sovereign, typically, you saw in the trailer, they're not cool people. They're
well, they think they're really cool.
Yeah, they're rough and full of themselves, and they talk down to the Guardians. Rocket steals some batteries. They get Gamora's sister. They take off.
Yeah, that's what they won. They won Gamora's sister.
Right, and they have Gamora's sister, and the Sovereign chases them, of course, because they're full of themselves. They get rescued by big bad Papa Star-Lord.
That's right.
And a bunch of stuff happens between there and there. He discovers that it's his father. They go to the planet. It's a giant living planet, which was really cool, by the way.
Yes.
He ends up being the villain. And causes a lot of strife for them. Peter's got to look deep. To beat his dad. They eventually save the day. Some people die that we like, and it was very nice and emotional. And a couple good end credit scenes. I threw my Coke in the trash. I threw my 3D glasses, which I was not a fan of, in the recycler. I got my kids and my wife in the car, and I drove through traffic home to talk to you.
Nice.
That was
that was pretty good. I got to tell you, you guys didn't notice I'm wearing a Walking Dead T-shirt right now, and I just want to tell you, I am sick and tired of watching Merle die. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about our friend that died, the person that we didn't want to have die in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yondu.
Was he in Walking Dead?
Yes, he was. Yeah, his name is Merle, this character. And it's Michael Rooker, man. I love that guy. He's a great actor. And watching him die, because he died in The Walking Dead, and watching him die here again was just, it was painful,
So
actually.
just a heads up, we did warn there were spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy. We did not warn that there were spoilers for Walking Dead. So,
yeah, by the way, yeah, Walking Dead, though, that was like season 3 or 4, so don't worry about it. A long time ago. But Yondu, man, I got to tell you, I so wanted more Yondu in this movie, and we got more Yondu, more Michael Rooker.
Great character, man. Great character.
Yeah.
That death hurt me a little bit.
Oh yeah, man.
That last line where he's like, he might have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Oh dang.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh, right in the
Come on,
feels.
does that not cut you? If you're a parent,
Ah,
right, or you're a kid, right? You can totally relate to that. It cuts you.
Yeah, and then he saves him. He sacrifices himself to save Star-Lord, and you can see it on his face the whole time. What a way to go out, man! That if you're gonna kill off a character, that's how you do it, right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he's got his burial, the proper one. It was fantastic. It was really good. So let's go into the movie. I'm excited to talk about what happens. So you want to talk about the good? You want to talk about
the good?
How did you want to break it down again?
The good, the bad, ugly. Give it a rating, and then we'll kick it to the comments and see what people say.
Okay. So I'm going to go on as saying personally that I feel like this was a perfect movie.
Wow.
So yeah. So
what?
Yeah, I've never done that before.
I got to make sure I'm actually looking at my brother right now.
Yeah.
You've never said that.
Was a perfect movie.
Wow. And like at best, you'll like half-heartedly agree with a good rating I give you. Like,
let me tell you why.
It's like a lot of trepidation, like crazy.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, it's not Schindler's List. It's not Bridge Over the River Kwai. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it was a perfect movie, meaning every single emotion that you should feel when you go to a movie, that you want to feel, the movie experience, the excitement, the sadness, the happiness, the laughter. And by the way, this movie is funnier than any other Marvel movie.
Very funny.
If you want to be entertained for a couple hours, this is the perfect movie. That's what I mean by perfect movie. It was a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I had a tear. I laughed. I had a tear laughing.
Yeah.
I was angry at one point.
I felt energy.
Fun movie. And I just want to say that Chris Pratt is my new favorite actor. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I love Chris Pratt, but I got to be honest, Bautista is growing on me. Oh, my God.
Well, we needed more. We needed more of Drax.
We needed more honest character. He's so honest. I'm not just talking about honest like he tells you the truth, but like the character bleeds genuine honesty. You feel that when he's on stage, and when he's holding Mantis up in the quicksands and it's just, this is not even a scene that's supposed to be like important to us. It's just a scene showing what's happening, but they're still I want you to see that Drax is willing to, with his last breath, keep Mantis above the ego, whatever it is.
And he's gonna die, but he's holding her up. Dave Bautista,
this person that he's known for 5 minutes, he's saving her.
Yeah, I mean the guy's not even. I mean he hasn't acted in a lot. He's been around for a long time, but he's not known to be a great actor. His acting chops were great in this movie. Yeah, he was funny, man. He was funny in the first movie, but let me tell you, they even ratcheted up more for him here in this one.
He was really funny in this movie. And speaking of Mantis, I liked Mantis.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. When he was laughing at Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, and she was like, "Let me do me," and she touches him and starts laughing too.
Right. Yeah, that was good.
Perfection.
My favorite one is funny. It was my wife's favorite scene in the movie was when she asked Drax if she can pet his puppy. When Rocket's down there, and that was a really, really funny scene. Lots of humor,
Rocket was great too. A lot of good. Yeah, like, they really feature. In fact, you know what's funny? They didn't feature Star-Lord very much, but this movie's about him. But he wasn't really featured very much like the other characters were, which was perfect.
No, they drew everybody else in. I mean, the first movie was really about Star-Lord,
right?
I think, and so this movie kind of shows how they've grown as a family. You know, it was amazing. I love Kurt Russell in this movie. I love Kurt Russell in this movie. Thank you. Thank you so much that the actors that passed over on this movie, man. You wouldn't even believe some of the guys who were considered for this movie. Well, you know, Gary Oldman, Viggo Mortensen.
That makes sense. I mean, I gotta say, Russ did a great job, and finally, a really good, seemingly a pretty good Marvel villain, right?
Oh, he was. Yeah, he really. I mean, he was believable. You liked him, and then you're like, "Whoa, you killed Peter's mom?"
Oh, dude, listen. That was the best scene in the movie when he mentions in passing that he killed his mom, And the second it dawned on Peter, there was no thought process. There was no consideration. He just pulled his guns out and started shooting the shit out of him.
Like, yeah, you killed my mom. Boom. Yeah, his eyes changed and he shot and you started killing him. It was not even a thought.
That was crazy. The second he realizes it, just pulled the guns out and went to town.
Yeah.
That was like stunning to me. Like, oh, it was great. And like, of course, he mentions it in passing because he's like this million.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. It's nothing, just immortal to him.
Well, his name is Ego.
Yeah.
Right, the planet. So of course he has a big ego. You know, it's kind of a giveaway. You know, Matthew McConaughey actually was offered that role.
Really?
And yeah, he turned it down because he was doing The Dark Tower, which is coming out later this summer. I'm so glad he turned it down because Kurt Russell was fantastic. You got to explain though how they got young Kurt Russell's face at the beginning of that movie. That was a young Kurt Russell's face.
Yeah, that's the same tech they used on
so amazing
on Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War when he played his like younger self.
It's so scary that they can do that and make it so accurate.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. So, what else was good? Like I said, like Mantis, she liked the sort of side story between Gamora and her sister.
That was cool.
Even if I wasn't a huge fan of Gamora per se, but like she was sort of dry this movie. Which makes sense. It's an ensemble movie, and everybody can't be the star.
No, and we got a lot of Gamora in the first movie. We got a lot of Peter. We got a lot of Gamora in the first movie. And in this movie, you got to bring the relationship together a little bit.
Yeah, that was nice. That's what I was going to say. Like, I love the old 80s references when people didn't, and the characters didn't understand except for Peter.
The Pac-Man. Did you see the Pac-Man?
Oh, that was great.
Oh, when he was taking out Ego?
The first one was when he goes, he called him, what was it? Okay, yeah, not a raccoon. You're just a trash panda, right?
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh yeah, you're not a raccoon. He's like, that's good, right? That's better.
That's good, right? That's better. That's better.
I laughed so hard.
Oh, look at you looking like Mary Poppins. He goes, is Mary Poppins a badass? He goes, yeah.
Yeah. And then as he's coming down, he's like,
look at me, I'm
Mary Poppins. Dude, so funny. I mean, people haven't seen the movie yet. They're not going to get these references. But this movie just hits and hits. Yeah, and just when you think there's nothing left, it just hits you again and hits you again. And when you're at your most emotional, then something funny happens to drag you back out of it. And I got to tell you, the guys, James Gunn and the people who make these Marvel movies, you know, I'm first and foremost a DC guy in my heart. But I'm so impressed with how they're able to juxtaposition your emotions in these movies.
Yeah, lately, man, I'm really digging the Guardians of the Galaxy look, and it looks like the way the Guardians of the Galaxy is making their movies is starting to bleed off in other movies. Like even the Ragnarok trailer at the beginning of the movie had that Guardians vibe, you know?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that about these movies, and I personally think that the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are, in my opinion, the best and my favorite of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That have to do with the Avengers.
Yeah, but we're like old space opera fans, though. You know, we like Star Trek and Star Wars and.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why I like it. I feel like the ensemble and the comedic value that's added to it. There's a little bit of comedy in some of the other ones, but this is just a nonstop fun when you watch these movies.
It's so much fun.
Right. And, but I think also, you know, growing up with comics and growing up with superheroes, everything is so earth centered. You know, most of it is anyways. You spend a lot of time just earth, saving earth. You haven't seen much earth.
No.
In these two movies. And it just gives a completely different feel. And it almost makes, in my opinion, everything happening on Earth with most of our superheroes kind of minuscule.
Yeah,
to the greater galaxy.
Yeah, Ego was trying to destroy the universe.
Right. That's like, okay, superhero.
You know, the crazy part is the only reason the other superheroes weren't there to help them is because it happened so quickly, you know?
And so far away from whatever the heck else is going on.
Thank God Peter Quill was the guy with that celestial energy and not like some guy named Joe, right? I mean, So, real quick, before we get into the bad, the last good thing here was the way they used Groot.
Okay, yeah, explain.
At first, I thought Groot was going to be a glorified ad for selling toys. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, I like Groot, but I mean, it looks like they're going to sell a whole lot of these things, right?
Where did you get that?
I got it from a Loot Crate.
Nice, dude.
And so that's what I thought was going to be, a big giant, like, the movie's going to be great, but all the Groot stuff is going to be about selling toys. And that really wasn't the case here. He was a character in the movie that did actual character things and had dialogue, even though he didn't say anything. And I gotta say, the funniest part of the movie, the absolute coup de grace, the joke that had me laughing for so long that I missed the jokes that came after it, was when he brought somebody's toe back to the jail cell.
Oh, when they're in jail, when
Yes.
when they're Rocket and Yondu in jail.
Oh my god! He was bringing all kinds. So here's the joke. They keep asking for Yondu's fin for his head,
right?
And only he can go get it because they're in jail. So he's going back to find. He doesn't understand. So he keeps bringing back stuff. He brings back underwear, and he brings back a remote control, and he brings back someone's like electronic
desk.
eye. And then he brings like a desk, and they're like, that joke where he's like, what is there's an eye though? Yeah, he takes his eye out when he sleeps, and he's like, no, leave it here. He goes, why? Because he's gonna wake up without an eye.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny.
That was all funny, and then what really capped it off is the last thing he brought back before it looks like they just sort of gave up on that, was he brings back what appears to be a human toe.
I couldn't tell what it was. It just looked wrong. Yeah.
And they're like, what is that? And
you're like, let's just forget about that.
And Rocket was like, tell me you have like a random room in here with parts of people. And I was like, no, we don't. He goes, okay, we're never going to talk about this again.
We're never going to talk about this again. Yeah,
so Groot cut someone's toe off and brought it back to him.
No, yeah. No, that was funny, and I love that. But I think my favorite joke was probably Drax telling
Mantis?
Telling Mantis that she's ugly.
She's ugly.
And hideous.
That callback, though, at the end, we're like, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, just like you, on the inside.
On the inside. They stuck to it. Thank you for not going cheese.
I know. I thought
Thank you.
I thought they were going to go cheese there. I thought they were going to be like,
yeah.
And it's cool. Like, oh, that's nice of him to say. And he goes, on the inside. And you're like,
it was so funny. Thank you. Thank you for sticking to it.
It was a perfect callback. That really sealed the deal for me. The last good thing for me, and I promise, there's a lot of good things in here, so I'm trying to stick it to just the good stuff, was the way Peter found his power to fight Ego. And it wasn't working out for him. He's failing. At first I was like, how is... Like, they sort of telegraphed it, right? When you saw the power, like, at some point, Peter's going to fight this guy with this power, right?
Okay.
Like, how is he going to do it? Like, he doesn't know anything about it. He's a million years old. He knows how to use his power. Peter doesn't. And I like the way they showed, like, he can control this power with raw heart. And, like, it took what's the guy's name of the Finn? Yondu. And he's like, I don't control it with my head. Control it with my heart. And that gave Peter, again, and then they reiterated, he's not going to beat him. He's just going to distract him.
Right. And he used, when he talked about that, using his heart, they showed clips of him interacting with each of the people he cares about.
Yeah.
And, he was able to kind of, pull that together.
Pull the intestinal fortitude together to give it the push it needs, just to distract this, God with a lowercase g for as long as I need it. And that's what I like. At nowhere in the movie was it like, oh, well, that's super convenient. It almost feels like the characters fell into all these problems. It wasn't inconvenience. It was like bad luck. Thank God they had the bad luck, and it wasn't some guy named Joe, Yeah,
well, how about the tape joke, man? That was when Rocket wanted tape, and you can hear Star-Lord off camera getting the crap beat out of him, asking everybody if they got tape.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so clever. This is going to have a cult following. No matter what else happens, this will have a cult following for years. I really believe that. It was that special of a movie. Did it not just kill you when he crushed his Walkman?
Oh yeah, that was like the icing.
Wasn't
on
that
top.
like
I know you killed your mom, but then you crushed like the last thing he has remaining on Earth, and the way they replaced it with the Zune.
That was awesome! Right there at the end, and especially coming from Yondu.
Hundreds of songs, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, did you know that they actually could not find working Walkmans for the movie? Like, they looked everywhere. So if anybody out there has working Walkmans, I would hold on to them, because they went back to Sony and asked if they had some operating Walkmans, and they're like, no, that's like really old. We don't have any of that anymore. They had to make 6 Walkmans for this movie.
I have
by hand. They had to. You do?
Yeah.
It works.
I have a tape Walkman. I have a CD Walkman. I have a Zune.
Hold on to your tape Walkman, bro.
No joke. I have a Zune, and they're all in working order. I don't use them. At this point, I'm keeping them, like, for one day. If I'm super rich, I'm going to have a museum of random crap.
I believe that. You got enough random crap around there. You could do something with that.
So let's talk about the bad.
Okay.
And I don't know what you're going to be able to come up with. I only have a couple of very small things. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first with it. I didn't understand why Yondu was in that, I guess, was that like a version of Las Vegas at the beginning where he's with the hookers or whatever it was that they were hanging out with, the ladies of whatever. I don't know. He was looking like he was doing something. He had his clothes. Yeah, so he looked really sad looking out the window. I didn't quite get that. And then it leads up to him meeting Sylvester Stallone, which, by the way, I think it was cool that Sylvester Stallone was in this movie, as well as David Hasselhoff was in this movie. Come on, the Hoff.
That was great.
So that was fantastic. But I didn't understand at that point why. I mean, I know now after watching a little bit more of the movie.
Okay.
But it didn't make a lot of sense for him to be waxing like that.
Yeah.
It was confusing at that moment. And I didn't quite understand.
I think they were trying to show, bro.
Did that.
I think they're trying to show that he was unhappy.
That's cool. Yeah, I can see that, because I guess he was unhappy because I didn't know that he wasn't accepted back into his big group of
the Ravagers. Yeah, I didn't know that part either.
So we walk into the movie not really knowing that this has happened, and then all of a sudden he's like, Sylvester Stallone gives him the hand. He's like, talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, I don't want you.
Well, that sort of showed that the Ravagers had this weird code too, though, right? Like,
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
We do a lot of bad stuff, but we don't mess with kids.
Yeah, that was off. Kids are off limits.
That's cool. That sort of shows that that the Ravagers have a code. There's honor amongst those thieves. Okay. What else? What else you got?
That I did not like about the movie. You go ahead and do a couple things. Let me think of something else I can think about.
Okay. So it's hard to say what you didn't like, because I was entertained the entire time.
I was so entertained.
Very entertained.
That was hard.
The first thing that bothered me was actually at the Las Vegas thing. Las Vegas, the planet, whatever. And it was sort of it was actually an interaction between Stallone and him. And on the same vein, like, they're interacting as if you're supposed to know who this character is. And now, as a comic book nerd, I know who Stallone's character is.
Right.
But you're not a comic book guy. You have no connection to this guy.
I had no idea who he was.
So that cameo meant nothing to the audience unless they know who the original Guardians of the Galaxy are, right? Basically, he's he's the leader of one of the teams of Guardians. It's a deep cut comic book stuff, right?
Yeah. That's why they kept showing his sidekicks a lot, because they were also Guardians.
Right. Yeah. But see, the rest of the audience,
I didn't know what that.
Yeah.
The ice guy, ice face guy. I didn't know.
Crystal guy, whatever. Yeah. The rest of the audience didn't know that. So there was some deep cut stuff here that's a little too deep if you're not a fan of the comics, right? That's my first gripe. And again, it's a small gripe. It's not a big deal. My second is that Ben Browder literally had one line in this movie. Ben Browder was one of the Sovereign guys, the guy that's in Farscape. He played.
Oh, yeah.
They took this actor that has a cult following of his own, and Farscape has this huge cult following, and they gave him one line. But then they give Stallone like a good piece of the movie. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's Sylvester Stallone, bro. I mean, he's a movie icon.
I know.
That's like, Browder has a cult following, but, and I got to tell you, those what was the name of the people that you just mentioned? The gold people?
The Sovereign.
The Sovereign. I got to tell you, I absolutely love the Sovereign. I love the way they were portrayed and the reactions that the as Zamora would say, sticks up their butt people.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, I absolutely love the way they reacted to things and the way they were so upset about losing their little video game when their pod would get shot down. And I really liked all that.
When all the Sovereign are behind that guy and he's like the last ship left.
Yeah, and Drax comes out and shoots him with a gun. Crazy.
Drax hooks up a rope to himself out of a spaceship and jumps out with a handgun to kill this guy. And they're like, "We knew you sucked the whole time."
Yeah, they're like,
"What is? I would never want to live in that society,
No, it'd be terrible.
It reminds me
that's a bad.
Huh?
Go ahead. I actually had another bad. It reminded me.
Go for it. Go.
I didn't like that Zamora was holding on to Drax and keeping him in the starship from space with her basically with one arm. I thought that was a little weird, unbelievable.
Oh, all she's got to do is hold on. But yeah, I guess.
I mean, you know how big that guy is? And all the weight that he's got to be, and all the
that dude
inertia.
Took a beating. I mean, he took a beating and he just laughed it off. Like, maybe he's stronger than we think he is,
Well, yeah, he was inside of a creature trying to cut his way out at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that was a great one. He's like, I single-handedly defeated the beast.
Right, dude. It's nonstop Drax laugh after laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I would say the only negative there, see now I'm finding little things, is Dave Bautista. If you go back and watch Drax from the first movie and you watch Drax from this movie, his intonation, the way he speaks in the first movie is much more choppy. It's almost like it has its own accent. And in this movie, he's a lot more fluid with the way he speaks.
I mean, I can explain that. It's been a couple years that he's been hanging out with these guys.
No, it's been 3 months.
Has it only been 3 months?
Yeah, it's only been 3 months.
No.
Story time.
No. Marvel movies are chronological.
According to IMDb, this movie takes place 3 months after the 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I can see how that would be a thing, but according to James Gunn and Feige, all the movies take place in the same amount of time that it takes for them to come out, which is why you see like the Avengers happening a year after the previous Avengers, and like all the Marvel movies are supposed to be chronological like that. So it's weird that they would change that up and after what 2 years now, Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know.
Well, it says here in IMDb, and I'll go ahead and just so maybe this will in the cinematic Marvel comic book universe timeline. The film takes place in 2014, 3 months after Guardians of the Galaxy. So it takes place a year after Thor: A Dark World, and before Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and a year before Avengers: Age of Ultron. So,
so I have a gripe.
Yeah,
now.
this is the way they explain it.
I have a bad. Okay, so that makes sense that the Guardians wouldn't be ultra connected to the Earth-based stuff.
Mm.
But how is the regular non-IMDb user supposed to know what the timeline is? Like,
I don't know. I found it in the trivia section. So
I mean, that makes sense, everything you said, but like they need to be better at explaining that, because these movies are all going to intersect like soon, like next year.
Yeah, 2018 is supposed to be the big movie, and we're going to have a Guardians 3 before that happens, I believe.
Are we?
Yeah, because well, of course, if you watch the end of the movie, who did you get there at the end?
Oh, the teenage Groot?
No. Well, that's cool to talk about too. But Adam, right?
Adam Warlock. Yeah.
So Adam Warlock, he's got to come, and there has to be some sort of, because Thanos has all of the Infinity Stones.
Which, by the way, Adam Warlock I guess I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Peter's father in Con.
Okay. And well, Adam also has the last infinity. The only unaccounted Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone, that's the one Adam used. So that's the one that's missing.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Thor, Helena, has the Soul Stone.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, that's what Ragnarok is about. She has the Soul Stone. She's like their version of the devil.
Okay, and she looks really powerful in the thing. So we'll have to see what happens, because you got some people kind of predicting that Adam's going to have it, and so there's got to be this Thanos.
Well, Thanos is going to get them all eventually, which begs the question: how is he going to rip the stone out of Vision's head? Because that's what powers him. But
Vision's got to die, man. Yeah. We talked about that.
That's right, we did. So, I got one more bad, and I just recalled it. And it's like it's a nothing. It doesn't mean anything for the movie. But the end credit scenes, there were 5 of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had to Google it in order to not miss anything. And to be fair, a couple of them were totally just end clips that didn't require you to watch 2.5 minutes of credits before saying it. And I didn't want to be the guy that missed the Adam Warlock reveal or something. But like some of these end credits, like I think they're actually doing the end credit scenes at this point just to do them. They don't have any real purpose.
Well, the Adam end credit scene was legit. I mean, that's a review.
What about the other 4?
I loved the Groot teenager.
Yeah, that was funny.
It gives us a little peek at where the next Groot might come from in Guardians 3. We might have a teenage Groot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that might be cool. What else was there?
The Stan Lee one was super cringe.
The Stan Lee one, I mean, the creator, the guy you guys going to get something. You got to throw a bone at him. I mean, at least it was showing the Watchers.
Yeah, I didn't mind that scene where they're jumping around and they see him real quick. I was like, that's cool. Oh, look at the Watchers. That's cool. They're never going to do a Watcher, movie. So it was nice seeing Stan Lee with the Watchers right there. That's cool.
But there's a little bit of a reveal.
Really?
A little bit. Yeah, because apparently all these little clips that we've seen of Stan Lee inside, if you listen to what he's saying right there, he says, I used to drive a FedEx truck, or I used to wear a FedEx uniform. And one of the clips, I think it was from Captain America, he was a FedEx driver. And so what they're saying is that character that you saw up there with the Watchers is the same person in all these the 4 clips that are done with these movies. It's the same character.
So he's a Watcher. So it's like a tongue-in-cheek sort of underlying story arc about the guy. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a little bit there. So what was the other after clip?
There was the Teenage Groot, the Adam Warlock. Oh, the arrow hitting Drax. That was hilarious.
That was funny.
The guy's trying to control the arrow.
But that shows the future too. It sounds like, that you're going to have somebody controlling that arrow, which is one of the coolest weapons ever.
Yeah, but I mean, that actor is not like, he's like a nobody actor, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's true.
Although he would have been nice for that character to be the Ben Browder guy, and then they could actually use.
I could have seen that.
Yeah,
that would have been fine.
Oh, last gripe. How in the world does the Gamora pick up that giant ship gun? Like, what is that about?
I don't know. I'm telling you, man. That's the same problem I had with her holding on to Drax out the back of the ship.
Maybe she's super strong, and we're like not aware of it.
She might be, yeah. Maybe we just don't know her character that well. But I thought it was cool that she picked up the gun. I mean, it was a cool scene to see her shooting back at her sister. So
yeah. All right. Well, that's the bad. I have one ugly thing, just one.
Okay.
The worst part of this movie. I have to wait.
It had to end?
I have to wait at least a year for any more of it.
That I feel the exact same way you do. I did not want this movie to end. There's not a terrible thing. There's not an ugly in this movie.
There's no ugly.
I don't see it.
There's no ugly.
Absolutely not.
The ugly was that I can't see more of it because these characters are so good. They're funny. They're intricate. They have layers on layers and layers. Their interaction together is so perfect. I mean, it
Yeah, and I
really
gotta
is.
apologize to our listeners right now. We missed so much stuff. While we were watching it, I was thinking, oh, remember some of this stuff so we can talk about it later. But we're gonna have to go back and watch this a couple more times. I could have gone back and watched the movie again right away. It was that good. I would have had no problem just going right back and doing it again. So we'll have to throw out some Easter eggs maybe down the road.
5-star review here. So what's how many stars, bro?
It gets 5 for me.
Pretty sure I knew that answer.
Yeah.
And I gotta say,
movie.
I've never given any of these movies 5-star. It's always been like 4.5, 4 3/4. But now, this is getting a 5-star for me. It was really good. Yeah. And that is one more problem I have. On the way over here, I'm looking at some other reviews, and I'm like,
yeah,
did we see the same movie?
You know, I'm getting like an 8 out of 10 from most people on a 10 scale, 8 to 9.
It's not like they're saying.
It's all movie. Positive. Yeah. Well, you know, that's what I was saying about it not being, you know, Bridge Over the River Kwai or Schindler's List or, you know, it's hard to hold movies like this to the same candle that you hold other movies. But what's the point of going to the theater? The point is to walk away feeling entertained and that you just loved your experience, you know, and I got to do it with my family. I mean, I got to look at my kids and at my wife. I was watching their faces during some of the scenes and how they smiled and laughed. And it was so fulfilling for me to be able to have that experience with them. I'm going to walk away from this remembering it for a long time.
I agree. My daughter Lana was sitting right next to me, and when Raccoon says, "We're all going to die," I started laughing, and she looks at me and she goes, "We're all gonna die."
That was cute, huh?
Yeah, man, they liked the movie too. And like, it's hard to get 5-year-olds to sit still. It is
very hard. I had Bodhi in there, so
I mean, she went pee 3 times. You know, that was a thing. But I got a great about this. Not about the movie. The theater I went to. The 3D was horrible. My head hurts as we speak.
Yeah, we couldn't do 3D, man. We do the XD.
It's not the movie's fault though. It wasn't. The screen was bad. The glasses were bad. The seats I was sitting in were like these beautiful leather. I tried a new theater, by the way. I don't know if you figured that out yet. I tried a new theater that had like recliner seats, so I can like be comfortable.
Really?
Mainly so my daughter, like in those other seats, when she's trying to sit in them, she just flies out because like they're all crazy, right?
Right.
So I thought I'm gonna get her in a seat. Maybe she goes to sleep if she doesn't care very much. So I get these seats, and the seats were great, but the screen was like a little bit fuzzy, and 3D wasn't great.
Oh, that's irritating. Hey, did you get the Star Wars trailer in your movie? The Last Jedi?
No.
Okay, so we got that trailer, the recent one that came out for The Last Jedi, and yeah, there was a second there, and I don't want to talk Star Wars. I know we talk Star Wars all the time, but when Rey's fist goes into the ground and then it pans up and you see it's her, our entire theater just erupted in applause.
Interesting.
And I cannot tell you the force of Star Wars, what's coming. This is we're going to look back at this as a time of history where it's going to be a golden age of movies.
Yeah.
That we're in the middle of right now. We are so lucky to be a part of it, even with Guardians of the Galaxy and a lot of the Avengers and DC stuff. And we're in a jewel time with the new Star Wars stuff with Disney. And 10 years from now, we're going to be looking back going, wow, that was special.
Yeah, I agree. We said the same thing last year, though, when we reviewed Force Awakens. We said this is going to be historic. And
and it's just it's going.
Hopefully the history keeps going, you know? Yeah. Disney is
makes our job more fun.
Yeah, sure it does. I mean, listen, imagine if we're here and like, okay, let's review The Mummy with Tom Hanks or Cruise.
Oh,
I don't know.
Hanks. I saw that preview too. We'll talk about it. I wasn't too excited about that. We'll see how that goes.
Some guy fighting a mummy again. Yeah. What do you think, man? Good, bad, ugly? And you just go,
it's Tom Cruise.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. And you just get up and leave during the review. I mean, like, I don't know if the movie's going to be good, but I try to tell you, if those were the movies we had to review, it would make this job a lot harder. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're pretty lucky.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. 5 stars. If you haven't seen the movie and you watch this, we're sorry. You should go watch it. If you did see the movie and you thought differently than what we thought, and you want to tell us that we are wrong or agree with us, please feel free to comment below and tell us what you thought of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and what you think they have in store for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, and do us a favor, subscribe and comment below, and we'll get a good giveaway out to you guys.
Oh, here's a question for you guys. What music do you think they're going to use in Volume 3? And remember, stipulation has to be from the 80s.
Or, well, it has to be music that his mom would have listened to, not from the 80s. So it would have been 70s, more like 80s. 60s, 70s.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
70s.
What are they going to use? Because they're running out of good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I mean...
Yeah, I think it's going to be... Can I throw mine out there? I think it's going to be the Turtles, Happy Together. I think that's going to be one of the songs in the next movie.
Okay, that makes sense, actually, considering.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me. Oh, we'll be back on Tuesday. We don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. We'll find out what happens over the weekend. And till then, please subscribe, please comment, and please like. And we'll see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you next week.
Adios.
Adios.